Good morning, my people from Calgary, Canada. Dr. Zoe again. I'm I'm gonna go off to work shortly, but I wanted to just make this one's probably going to be a lengthy video, but I don't mind. If it's too long, I'll put it on my YouTube page. And by the way, thank you very much, everyone, for your support and for subscribing to our YouTube page, official underscore Dr. underscore Zoe, Z-O. So a few days ago, one of the very popular pastors in Nigeria, I actually like him. I would say he made a slip, just a slip of tongue, because he apologized. And he said that he wanted COVID-19 to continue because according to him, he made a lot of money. He bought 3 jets, private jets, and he was going to buy more. So he was almost praying that COVID continues. I have to state clearly that he apologized, and personally, I forgive him. And I think he's a good guy. But the truth is this, as African doctors in the West, we are the ones that lived through COVID. Believe me, Nigeria did not go through COVID. Or maybe they did and they didn't know. What we went through here, what we as doctors saw here, nobody wants to see it. You don't even want to wish it for your worst enemy. So I said, let me spend some time and share it with my followers. For background, in 2019, December, I took a chieftaincy title in my village. So I went back home to Africa, came back around the 6th of January. I flew Delta through New York, and I came back and I had this horrible cough, lasted for weeks and weeks. And honestly, it was the worst cough I'd had in my life. I remember I was settled it was 2 courses of azithromycin. The same azithromycin Trump and everybody were talking about during COVID. That's what I just took it and got better after 2 doses. But I think that's what gave me the immunity, and that's what helped me survive COVID-19 pandemic. And I think I had it then. But January 2020, nobody knew what COVID was. It was around February or March that the first term was mentioned, COVID-19 infection. So that is like a bit of background for you to understand what we're going to talk about. So what I want to explain to my viewers is life, like a 24-hour period as a doctor during COVID. I want to just share with you. I was working in rural Alberta as an emergency doctor. You'll be the only emergency doctor in the whole village, in the whole town. You are the only one. And we had a lot of senior elderly population, a lot of senior homes there. Rural Alberta. I live in Calgary with my family, and the rural Alberta then was about 2.5 hours drive. So I wake up around 5 o'clock, get dressed, and drive 2.5 hours to the place. And on the way, you put radio and all, you keep hearing about this new virus that is attacking everyone. Doctors are passing in Italy, and that's what you're going to hear every day when you're driving to work. Believe me. Sometimes I park my car and I shed tears because at that time I was obese. I had high blood pressure, asthma, I was sleep apnea. I had, it was people like me my demographic then that it was hitting hard, and the immigrants, the black people suffered most too. I think it was because we had to wait. So sometimes I would be driving and tears would rain down because I didn't know whether I was going to survive it. Remember then, so 2020, there was no vaccination. There was no vaccination at all. In fact, nobody knew what was happening. It was like out of the blue. So you get to work and you have to put on, I have to say here that honestly, the people and the government of Alberta, Canada supported us very well. They did a lot of things to support us. Even me driving to work, you're allowed to get free McDonald's, free Starbucks, coffee, anything you want. If you want to shop, they'll give you your own line because then they were doing social distancing. So if you want to say you're a medical doctor, your HCA, nurses, anything, they gave us a lot of support. Because what we did then, believe me, it was not easy. Anyway, you get to work, you do your mask from outside. You now wear a full gown and enter. I remember one particular case, the ambulance people brought a lady from nursing home. She was around 80-something years old. And the cough, you don't even need to do any swabbing to know that this is COVID cough. I panicked, my wife and I were close. So I went to the washroom. I called my wife. I said, there's another case here, My wife is not medical. My wife is a lawyer. You said, another case. Why don't you run? I said, run to where? Where will I run? Nigerian doctor ran away from hospital. My picture, I will forehand now, my picture will be all over the whole place. I will just, stay there, summon up courage, and come out. Of course, wear your mask. That's why my hands are white today, because we will wash our hands like 200 times every day, or 300 times sometimes. It's a 24-hour shift, 8 to 8. So we leave here around 5:30, get there 8 o'clock, 2.5 hours, then do the 24 hours. It was a lot of mental torture to us. A lot of mental torture. Then only doctors are allowed to swab this patient, nobody else. You're going to swab this patient, you will put the intravenous line, give them fluids, anything, all the treatment. Then this remdesivir, all these fancy medications and vaccinations were not there. So you have to go there and use everything you have to treat these people. We're putting antibiotics, everything, the COVID-19 infection dealt with the elderly and the immigrants, people like me. A lot of doctors passed, believe me. When you be at work, you go on social media, you go on WhatsApp group, you'll be hearing our classmates that are passing in Europe, Italy, UK, America. If you come back home, you turn on the TV, you see them dumping bodies in the truck because the morgues are full in New York. That is what we went through. And you know what? Another day, you still have to dress up and go back to that same work. That is what we saw as doctors. That's what we saw, believe me. The funny thing, you're going to do most of the time, that's most of the emergency department, because people were running away from a hospital. People were running away from us, the doctors. If you're a doctor and you go outside to buy something, God forbid if you sneeze there or you cough, the whole restaurant, everybody will run away. I wear scrubs, so everybody knows I'm a doctor, and I wear, my ID. If you go to buy something in the supermarket or shop and you cough, then everybody, including the sales, everybody will scamper. It was such a big trauma for us. I'm telling you. As I said, this video might be too long, and if it is, I will post the entire video on my YouTube page. And thank you very much for subscribing. Anyway, this is only the first part. The second part is when I now get home. I'll get home. I have a big garage. My wife will open the garage. My wife will cover her